Hello everyone and welcome to this week's cyber news briefing. With the constant evolution of the digital landscape, staying informed on the latest cybersecurity trend and incident has never been more important, from major ransomware attacks to newly discovered vulnerabilities. Every week brings new challenges that requires us to adopt and strengthen our cybersecurity measures. In this presentation, we will be covering the top 10 cybersecurity news stories that have made headlines this week. Each of these stories highlights different aspects of cybersecurity, from data privacy and regulatory fines to cybercrime takedowns and nation-state attacks. Our goal today is not to only inform you about these incidents but also to discuss their broader implication for business, government, and individual. So let's get started. So the first news is coming from Microsoft, where Microsoft reported active exploitation of a zero-day vulnerability in Word used in targeted attacks. So this week, Microsoft revealed a critical zero-day vulnerability in Microsoft Word being exploited in targeted attacks. The vulnerability allows attacker to execute remote code, placing organization at significant risk. This incident highlights the importance of frequent patching and strong security protocols. And it's a reminder for organization to assess their Microsoft environment and ensure that emergency patches are applied promptly. The next news is coming from FBI, where FBI has dismantled the Qakbot botnet used by criminals to deliver ransomware and steal data. So, in a major victory for cybersecurity, the FBI has successfully shut down the Qakbot botnet, which was responsible for enabling some of the largest ransomware attacks and data breaches globally. This demonstrates the growing cooperation between international law enforcement agencies to disrupt major cybercrime operations. But it's a temporary win, as other botnets will undoubtedly rise to take its place. The next news is coming from Google, where Google is fined by California's Attorney General for mishandling location data of users. So this week, Google was hit with $93 million fine in California for privacy violation, accused of mishandling user location data. This is part of a broader push by government globally to enforce stricter data privacy laws. Business must increasingly be aware of how they handle customer data to avoid fines and reputation damage. The next news is coming from a popular Indian YouTube channel hack, BeerBiceps. So one of India's top YouTubers, BeerBiceps, became the latest victim of a cyber attack where hackers took over his account to promote a cryptocurrency scam. This attack underscores the need of two-factor authentication and more robust control on social media platforms. And creators and brands need to remain vigilant about account protection. I have also made a video on this topic yesterday, so please go ahead and check my channel for that video for detailed analysis. The next news is coming on the MGM part, where MGM resorts continue to face operational disruption following a ransomware attack that started weeks ago. So MGM Resorts is still dealing with the aftermath of a massive ransomware attack that has disrupted their operation for weeks. This highlights that devastating impact such attacks can have on critical industries, especially hospitality. Companies need to ensure they have comprehensive incident response plans and strong backups to minimize downtime in each situation. So the next news is coming from Apple, everyone's favorite, where Apple has released some emergency patches for iOS. Apple issues an emergency update to fix a security flaw in iOS that allowed spyware installation via malicious links. Apple has rolled out an emergency security patch for iOS, addressing a vulnerability that allowed attackers to install spyware through malicious crafted links. Every high-end company like Apple's are not immune to security breaches. Keeping devices up to date with latest security patches is essential for both consumers and business alike. The next news is coming from Cisco, where Cisco identified several vulnerabilities in VPN products, some rated as critical. So this week, Cisco has reported critical vulnerabilities in its VPN product that could allow attackers to bypass authentication and access networks. With VPN usage growing due to remote work, these vulnerabilities pose significant risks to corporate environment. Organizations need to quickly assess their VPN setups and apply necessary patches. The next news is coming from Iran-linked hackers, where APT Group, tied to Iran, have reportedly been launching attacks on defense contractors in US and Israel. So there are fresh reports of Iran-linked hackers targeting US and Israeli defense contractors. These sophisticated cyber espionage attempts are a reminder that geopolitical tensions increasingly play out in cyberspace. Companies involved in critical infrastructure and defense must remain hyper vigilant to these nation state attacks. The next news is coming from European healthcare system, which faces record attacks. So the healthcare system across Europe are facing an unprecedented number of cyber attacks, primarily ransomware. This sector remains a top target for cyber criminals due to its critical nature and the valuable data it holds. Healthcare organizations need to prioritize cybersecurity to ensure patient safety and continuity of their services. The next news is coming from Telegram, the communication application, WhatsApp competitor also, many people know it how. And I have also made a video of the problem, video on the problem that Telegram had where the CEO was even arrested. So this is the continuation of that. So Telegram has pledged to work more closely with law enforcement to tackle cybercrime and hate speech. Finally, in response to growing pressure, Telegram has announced plans to increase its cooperation with law enforcement in tackling cybercrime and hate speech on its platform. While this is a welcome move, it raises concerns about users' privacy and the potential for government overreach. It will be interesting to see how balance between privacy and law enforcement unfolds. Now this brings us to the end of the video. So as a conclusion, I will only say that staying vigilant in an evolving threat landscape is very important. And this week's headlines demonstrate that cyber threats are evolving rapidly, targeting individuals, corporations, and government alike. As security professionals, we must continue to stay informed, implement best practices, and always be one step ahead of attackers. Thank you for attending this week's Cyber News briefing.